Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome back to another episode of 2 and 6 Sports, everybody. Two guys, six beers and sports. Today I got my buddy Jared here. He's a local Steelers fan. I also got two cran and vodkas here. They're both double shots, so we're about to get fun today. What are you drinking?
Mine's mezcal and lime juice and agave syrup.
Whoa.
I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's way too much agave, but it's a triple. I'd say it was a heavy pour. I may have looked away.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sipping on that. I can definitely tell it's double. All right. So
Yeah.
welcome back, everybody. We missed last week. Sorry about that, but we were back with a vengeance this week. Our first topic, we're gonna fucking blast right into this shit. We're we're going with our top NFL free agents. I'm sorry, we were gonna go with our top NFL free agents, and then we thought better of it. We're coming at you with the heat, people. Anyone can give you their top NFL free agents for the upcoming year. We're gonna give you our top sleeper picks. All right. So you could go first, my friend. Did you say you wanted to go first with your sleeper pick or?
Yeah, let's okay. So the way I'm starting to look at this, so just so everyone knows, I'm like a definitely a fantasy person. I'm not heavy better. And I like my team, but I'm like definitely way into the fantasy game. So I'm like, this is gonna be offensive heavy for some sleepers. But looking at some like really big potential for a couple people, I was starting to like drill down to like the running back and wide receiver positions to see if it could really pop. And I'm gonna break the rules a second and do one really trendy take and then one real deep sleeper take. So
Okay.
my first like really trendy sleeper take, because honestly, he had such a rough last season, such a rough start and such a strong finish, literally in the Super Bowl, is Mecole Hardman. I
Mm,
think if I think one milestone game has shown that if you can like get that big, those big of a catches, it can really build your reputation inside the team and inside the clubhouse. Like that locker room really rally. I could see them rallying around this guy because really, was it Rice? Is I don't think they still have a true one. And I'm not going to say Mecole is going to come out like a one, but he's sure as hell built confidence with this whole squad there. So I'm like really big on Hardman for next year. For I think you can get him in the draft season. I think you should be betting on this guy, and I hope the Chiefs pick him back up. But that's one. And then the deep sleeper, because I saw this guy perform really, really, really well at the running back position in a way that got slept on super hard, unless you're on fantasy or betting, which
mhm.
is Dearness Johnson. So Dearness Johnson is
Oh
a
yeah.
running back who season or two ago when he came in the league as a rookie, this dude got handed the rock on the Browns when Chubb went down and then Kareem Hunt went down. And this guy handled it really well. He's got young legs, fresh legs still. He's playing, he's a strong, he's like one of those kind of running backs that I like. The archetype is like real strong frame, but like real speedy legs. It's like really tough to come by. And he's got like a dope haircut, which is also important. If you heard our last conversation, I'm big on the haircut edge.
Oh
So those
yeah.
are probably my
Blue
two.
hair.
Nicole and Dearness are definitely like some two guys I would be on the watch out for free agents. And I would hope like some real strong teams pick them up and just throw them out there and see what they can do in training camp.
I like it. I like those picks. Mecole, people don't people forget, that was Mecole Hardman that caught that go-ahead touchdown in the Super Bowl, the winning touchdown. He was the forgotten guy in Kansas City, and all of a sudden, boom, comes back like a phoenix out of the ashes.
Well, if you watch that play, it wasn't the catch that was so significant. It was he was doing a cross 10 yards out and shifted the linebacker to hold the middle of the field and left the whole right corner open, like wide the frick open. So he did a complete fake out on the linebacker and then the safety. So he just like, I was like, that move alone that you can't really see unless you really slow it down and watch it back. Awesome. And he just got shit on, like absolutely shit on the Jets when he went to the Jets before he came back to the Chiefs. Because obviously the Jets are in a great position. And I'm in New York City, right? And Never will be a Jets fan for this exact reason.
The
They
Jets,
ruin, they ruin
cursed.
people. They're just gonna ruin Rodgers. Anyway, go ahead.
No, the Jets are absolutely cursed, man. You can't be a Jets fan. If you live in New York, you got to be a Giants fan, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
Like,
I know you're a
I,
Steelers fan, but yeah, the Giants suck
that's
too.
why I'm still a Steelers fan. I've lived here for over 15 years, and I have to tell you, it's still tough. It's still tough to like
Yeah, you want to root for the
really
home
rally
team
behind.
that everyone else is rooting for, but you can't.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna get behind Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor or freaking whoever the hell the Jets draft.
It's rough. Zach Wilson, it's not good. Not good.
Yeah, no, but I would draft Zach Wilson's mom.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Cougar alert. I remember that you saw that stuff that came out with him and his mom's friend, right?
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh
Could
yeah,
you imagine if your mom is getting better press than you? Oh my God. Oh my God.
good stuff. But all right,
She's what I would call a real sleeper.
nice segue there because my sleeper. All right, I'm gonna go as we see Homer Eagles. I'm thinking Eagles when I make this pick because that's what I know the most about. I'm looking down this list and I scroll all the way down to let's see, I scroll all the way down to 3 million a year, and I find my boy over here, Drew Tranquil, linebacker for Kansas City. This guy, I'm telling you, was he? So he's 28 years old. He was a fourth round pick in 2019. And man, he's been a showstopper over there in Kansas City, man. He plays with fire, he plays with energy. He's big, he's a sure tackler. He's exactly what the Eagles need. We're switching, and Vic Fangio being our new defensive coordinator, the Eagles are switching to kind of like a 3-4 hybrid defense. So we need a plethora of linebackers. Drew Tranquil, I believe. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. I think he's going to be a sleeper pick. I think he's going to massively outperform his contract. And I think he's going to be a big part into why the Philadelphia Eagles go on a deep playoff run next year. Think about
Yeah, I
that.
like. Yeah, he sounds like the Trank. I like going just by the Trank.
The Trank.
The Trank. When you think
The
though of
Trank.
like bringing a guy from KC though over like that, who who do you think how do you think he's going to show up in the same way, or do you think he's really going to need to evolve to be on the Eagles type of defense? Because you've got a real mix on D. I don't really, but you've got some like heavy vets, and you've got some like pretty interesting young candidates. So I don't. How do you think he's going to fit the culture and the scheme? Not knowing about him personally, I mean,
I
unless you're like
mean,
best friends with him, and you're trying to
we,
really plug his contract up right now.
we were in a culture dilemma last year. So I mean, I'm not worried about him fitting into the culture. We need guys like that to come in here and start a new culture. You know, like I said, that guy plays with fire and energy, and that's the type of excuse me, that's the kind of passion that we need. And we need guys playing 100 miles an hour. You know, we need because those kind of guys who practice hard, they're gonna make other guys practice hard. You know, it's
What do you
just
think though? Do you think it's more important that you secure? Okay, so if you were to think big picture, sleepers, another for the Eagles, is it, and you had like a very limited amount to invest to really start building the team out for the next 2 to 3 years, would you invest in the line, not sleepers? You could pick up, one big candidate, right? But would you invest in the line, the backs, or like really get a hot corner or safety or something? Like, what do you think is the most important?
well, the Eagles, I know for a fact, they build it from the trenches out.
Yeah,
They're offensive in their defensive lines. They're always they've said that a bunch of times and they've backed it up with their picks. So that's what they do. So if I
big
had to put
Cox.
money on it, I would say that the Eagles are going to prioritize the trenches. It's going to be offensive and defensive line. They need cornerback help though, and obviously they don't have a single linebacker on the roster. They have Nakobe Dean, but he hasn't proven anything yet. So we need
What
to get
what's
bodies.
what's how many is what's his name done? Oh my god, why am I slipping on his name? The corner.
We have Darius Slay and
Rumble.
James
Yeah,
Bradbury.
Slay. Yeah, is Slay
He
what's
ended
left
the
for
year
him?
with a kind of a shitty back injury, but it ended up not being serious. He also had knee surgery towards the end of the year, but I guess he's going to be good to go to start the year. He should be back next year for one last year. What I'm more worried about is the other side, James Bradbury. He fell off so hard this year. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. We had fans outside the stadium, whole dressed up as trash cans with the sign saying, my name is James Bradbury." We had people calling him Trashberry and Burntberry all year, like local media people. He heard it. He had to have heard it because everybody was talking about it. And he looks slow. Dude, I look like I could go out there and run a post route and get 5 yards of separation on him. So,
No, 100%. I'm like, but you think they're gonna get someone in the draft in the first 3 rounds?
so
Yeah,
I could see it's man, it's so tough because you got to think about it from this perspective, right? The Eagles have an investment in Jalen Hurts in a 50 some odd $1 million contract that they have with him. And you got to protect your investment, right? If you make an investment like that and you just follow the money and keep things simple, you're going to protect your investment. So where does that lead us? That leads us to the offensive line. It makes me think because I heard that this draft is going to be very offensive line heavy. I think the
yeah.
Eagles use that first round pick on an offensive lineman. They're going to protect their investment in Jalen Hurts. As much as I want them to go defense, I think that they're going to do the business thing. The NFL's a business. We cannot forget that. It's not about the sport aspect of it and winning championships. It's about continuing to bring in money for the owner, right? Obviously, winning championships is part of that, but your star quarterback not being injured is a bigger part. It's the biggest part, right? People are going to sit in those seats as long as Jalen Hurts is starting quarterback. So protecting him, making sure he's not hurt. I think they're going to use that first round pick on a offensive lineman, especially with Lane Johnson coming towards the end of his career. Jason Kelsey most likely retiring. We have a couple of big pieces on that line.
Okay, so real quick, so I'm I love this podcast. I think you do such a great job and it's so fun. The other podcast though that is really good is the Kelsey Boys.
Oh
And
yeah.
I've listened to a couple of all right now. I've listened to a couple of them and it seems like he's not really guaranteed he's going to retire. That's like the vibe I get. He keeps saying like, "Oh yeah, like everyone thinks we retire. Whenever I decide to do, like
It would be
he
tough to
could
go
come
out.
back."
I think he might do what Brady did and do it like come back for a year out of spite, just to spite Adam Schefter for leaking that report.
Yeah.
That's what Brady did basically. He came back out of spite essentially because Adam Schefter leaked that he was retiring, and then Brady came back for another year. It was like, fuck you, Adam. you know?
Well, the difference is a center you get beat the fuck up. I mean, not to
Oh
say
yeah.
quarterback you don't. So I'm just like as a man in my 30s, and I know what my knees feel like. I could never imagine his body right now, but I just think he's still got it. I don't know if he's like getting numbing spray covering his whole body. I don't know how he's dealing with it, but he's still good enough for them to either do one of two things, like you're saying, get a young guy in the draft and have Kelsey at least there and do the first half of the season and then fade out and do a leadership role for the O line, or to just go ham one more year and go for that Super Bowl run again. Get someone, get a tenured but still young, like 25 to 28-year-old free agent next year. Like there's a lot of moves. It doesn't have to be the draft for the center position. Like that's never like the hugest investment. I don't know, but I
No,
think he still got it.
it could be right tackle. It could be Lane
Mm.
Johnson's replacement because Lane Johnson's been coming towards the end. He's been getting those hernia injuries, ankle sprains. They've been starting to pile up as he's gotten older. Lane Johnson's probably only got maybe this year and maybe one more. I don't see Lane Johnson playing 3, 4, 5 more years.
It's weird to see a You remember like when the Seahawks like their whole D was started. What's it called? The Legion of, well, not
Legion
Legion
of
of Doom.
Boom, Richard Sherman,
Boom. Yeah. Or remember when they
fucking
started to really fade out and like piece by piece they would
Cam
start.
Chancellor, Earl Campbell. I mean, I'm sorry,
It
Earl
was,
Thomas.
oh, dude, my Madden Ultimate Team, freaking, my defense was always Legion of Boom. But when they started to really decline, get traded, retire, it was a rebuild of at least what 5 years. Like Bobby Wagner had to pick it up from the linebacker position.
They never
Um,
really got back once it stopped. They never got back again. So,
no, they got the twins, right? What are the twins? Remember?
yeah, the kid with the one hand.
Yeah, the one-handed wonder. The
Is he still on the team? Is he in the league?
I mean, he got so much attention, which is great. I think it's great that he overcame such like a insane adversity, obviously, but like I don't think anything
Yeah, I mean,
materialized.
if you can make the NFL with one fucking hand, that's pretty cool, right?
No, I mean, even if he has one good season, it's like yeah, everyone. And if anyone, reporter, other teammate is like you're trash, and it's just like
You don't
I'm
even need to
better
make
than
a
you
good
with one
season.
hand tied behind my back.
Bro, yeah, right, dude. If honestly, it was all worth it if he just made one play. And like, think about it. If you're born with one hand and you make a play in an NFL game, like you deflect a pass or it doesn't have to even be an interception. Like, because I'm pretty sure he was a no, he was a linebacker. What was he? He
No, he's a safety.
the guy his brother who's really good, but I'm pretty sure was a
Yeah,
corner or a safety.
yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure the kid with one hand, I know he was on defense, but I think he was a linebacker or a I
I'll
think he was
tell you
a
right now.
linebacker.
I'll
I
tell
don't
you right
know.
now. This is no, because I think this dude, yeah, Shaquem Griffin, he retired. He got drafted in 2018, but he retired. What position was he?
Makes sense. I'm pretty sure it was linebacker.
Probably. I mean, he just like beating bitches up probably in there. Yeah, linebacker. You're right. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right. You're right. He retired though.
bro, if you're born with one fucking hand and you get drafted into the NFL and you get a snap in a real NFL game and you either A, break up a pass or B, make a solo tackle, that's a fucking dream come true. That's insane. You don't have to have a big career or even a great season. Like, dude, if he made a play, if he with one hand, if he made a play in an NFL game, that's fucking dope. That's not something I'll never do, you know?
Yeah, but then I think about other like players who are not like obviously like handicapped like that or held back like that, but just like you start thinking about like really short quarterbacks or like really short receivers, Steve Smith, who are just like way out of their range for their position. I point being though is we're going back to it though is once you have such a I would consider the line on for the Eagles like in conversation for dynasty level. Like I could see them going to the Hall of Fame, like a bunch of those dudes, and it's going to take them 5 years to rebuild that for sure. And regardless of Jason Kelsey retiring this year, next year, or Lane Johnson getting out of there, so I think protecting the quarterback's going to be fine, but Jalen Hurts is also mobile, and they need fucking help on D. They need help back there in
Big
coverage.
help on. I would, you know what I would be okay with is if the first round pick is maybe Lane Johnson's replacement at right tackle, and then the rest of the draft defense, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? So, like, if we take the first, go protect your investment in Jalen Hurts with your first round pick, I'm perfectly okay with that. And it would not surprise me because I've been an Eagles fan most of my life. Since I was probably like 10, 11, I've been an Eagles fan. So I understand their investment in the offensive defensive line. It doesn't shock me anymore when they take a player that I maybe was not expecting because that's what they do. They value the offensive and defensive line. They build from the trenches out. So man, I know we need help on defense, but I would not be shocked if
Oh.
the first round pick was a tackle.
All right, two more quick things if we have time for this. First thing is, all right, so if you need to get really go for at least, a conference, win and keep the energy up and not get fucking like have a real L of a season. You got to do something in the running back position
Oh
because I
yeah.
feel like the three-headed monster strategy they've been doing and then trying to rely on Swift and then not giving him the fucking ball ever again is just like, so he's a free agent. Going back to free agents, do you think it's worth it for them to bring him back, or do you want to do draft or pick up somebody else,
I
or
think
maybe
what
use another depth chart player?
I think what we need to do, to be honest with you, is there's a lot of free agent running backs out there. And I think what they're gonna do is sign two cheaper ones. Because uh or you know what? To be honest with you, man, I'll be all right. I'll be frank here. Howie Roseman, the Eagles GM, he doesn't draft defense very well. I mean, we drafted Jalen Carter last year. That worked out very well. But I mean, we were picking so high, you know.
Yeah.
Right now, we're picking in the 20s. He doesn't have a good track record of picking good defensive players in that range. A lot of our best defensive players that we've had have been free agent signings. We draft well on the offensive side, and we sign most of our defensive players
Yep.
or trade for them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of been the strategy. So as much as I really would love an influx of youth in the draft through of defense, I think the Eagles could draft a bunch of players who are offensive linemen or a running back. To answer your question, I think the
Mm-hmm.
Eagles could draft a running back to solve the DeAndre Swift issue, and then sign most of their defensive needs might be free agent signings, while most of their offensive needs are probably going to be addressed through the draft, like running back, like you say. I mean, we get a young running back with fresh legs in maybe say the third round. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think,
So can I tell you my guess based on this?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I have two guesses on what I think is going to happen, knowing how the Eagles do this shit with the pricing, right? So my God, this is you do not get mad at me when I say this, dude, because you know it's going to happen. Option one, I think they're going to dump DeAndre Swift. They were not going to draft anyone in the first couple rounds for running back. They may pick up someone real late, but I think they're going to either go for Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the that team, and I think he's gonna do fucking goose egg. I hate Clyde. I think he was so overhyped when he got drafted, but I could still see a chance where if he's coached really well and they use him in the right way, they could turn around. He was like a really good. He's
What's
really
his skill
good.
set? I don't even know.
Red
I remember
zone,
watching him, but like I don't remember
red
anything
zone.
about him really. He's like a Kenny Gainwell.
He's a red zone guy. He needs a lot of carry. So
Is he
unlike
big?
um, I think he's real average, man. Like he's
That's what I'm
not.
saying.
He's
I remember him playing, but I don't ever remember watching him and being like seeing anything. Like I feel like
uh,
everything all around is average. Clyde's Edward Helaire.
yeah. I think he needs a lot of touches. He's like Josh Jacobs. He needs a lot of touch. Who's also a free agent, by the way.
Won my fantasy league 2 years ago. Josh Jacobs, not this last year, but the year before that, when he had that crazy year, he won my league for me. Insane.
Exactly. He needed 20 touches a game, and then he would get those 3 to 4 big plays. He would have a lot of like 1 or 2 yard, like just gotten fucked up. Okay, so that's one. I think it's going to be Clyde. Or here's the one where you're going to get pissed about what happens. I think you're going to get really upset. I think
Ezekiel
they're going to
Elliott.
go for someone injury prone who has still a lot of potential, which is J.K. Dobbins from the Ravens, who is overhyped every year when he's healthy and then gets an Achilles injury or some other big injury. But I think they're going to pick somebody who had good enough analytics when you really zoom into it, but on the field, they just do not look good. Like I think they're going to do a big analytical play
They can
who
get him
could
for
they could
cheap.
get
I
cheap.
absolutely agree. Yeah, I agree.
Because if
They're
this was
not
two
spending a
years
lot of
ago,
money on that
Jake,
position. They don't do it.
yeah, they or like someone dumb like Matt Breida or like Kareem Hunt or something. You know what I mean?
I agree. I don't think they're not getting Saquon. I don't think they're getting uh Derrick Henry.
Tony Pollard. There's Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon, Austin Eckler though.
I'll tell
So
you,
here's
bro. I'll tell you what. I would fucking love Derrick Henry, man. I think if we
he's an eagle. He's an eagle kind of guy. I think.
I'll tell you, man, think about the 2017 Eagles that won the Super Bowl. Yes, Nick Foles caught fire and he was just playing magically and everything was just fucking going well. But think about what no one talks about, that 2017 Eagles team that won the Super Bowl. That why we won the Super Bowl. LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi. That running game was insane. I remember watching those games, dude. We were getting like 5 yards a carry. Though, like LeGarrette Blount was running over people, bowling over them, and Jay Ajayi. That was the most brilliant in-season trade that by Howie Roseman, getting Jay Ajayi for a fourth-round pick to go on that Super Bowl run. Yes, we already had LeGarrette Blount, who was playing amazing, but getting Jay Ajayi to pair with him, dude, we the comparison to that for this year would be Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is the
Derrick
style.
Henry and who? Derrick Henry, and then you keep Swift.
We wouldn't be able to afford that. It would be
No, I
Derrick.
know, but like
It
you
would
need
be Derrick
someone to
Henry, and
like.
we pick a Lightning. We need a Lightning to the Thunder. Derrick Henry is the Thunder. We'd find somebody. I mean, we have Corey. I mean, we have I was gonna say Corey Clement because he was the Kenny. He was the Kenny
Yeah.
Gainwell. We have Kenny.
Oh, you know who you could get? You know, it'd be sick. Rashad Penny.
We already have him.
Rash- you have Penny
He
still?
played.
He's a
He
free
didn't.
agent.
I know, but he's a free agent now. We signed him to a 1 year deal. He played like 6 snaps for us.
Yeah,
They
but
don't.
also, yeah, I
They
think
don't.
I like him. You could all, oh,
I
Antonio
like him too,
Gibson.
but they won't play him.
You could
They
do it.
refused to play him last year. They didn't play him.
You've got some scat back stuff with Antonio Gibson, who's like a receiver basically. Antonio Gibson's on the market. He's on the
That wouldn't
block.
be bad to pair with Henry. You know, we would need someone like a quick shifty guy to pair with Henry if we did that, who is cheap, clearly,
Probably
because
draft
Henry's
him.
not going to be cheap.
It's gonna have to be you trade picks for him. But yeah, the I'll tell you the real quick other thing about the Steelers because I've been giving you too much attention on these stupid Eagles because Pennsylvania's got a better team next season, and it's the fucking Steelers.
You think the
So there's
Steelers are
a
going to be better than the Eagles next year?
no, obviously not, dude.
Okay.
Obviously not. But I'm gonna give you this scenario. I'm gonna paint you a picture, okay, about how I think they could turn this around. So one thing is there's a the big rumor mill is obviously Justin Fields to the Steelers is a huge rumor mill right now because the Bears are trying to shop him like it's nobody's business. They still have they have the first pick, second pick in the draft, but the Bears I think want to get rid of him. So if you have a high mobility quarterback, which we've shown we could do really well with everyone, you know, Mike Vick to Big Ben, um, I think that would be insane to get Fields, but you really need to lock in even better running back for me. And I think I hate Pat Fryermuth as a tight end. So you need to have two escape options. You need to have two escape options if you have with any
The
play that
fuck?
they're running
You see those
for
balloons?
those are real. Those are my balloons. Magic.
Just had balloons down there.
Nice, thank you. you learning Zoom. Um, you give if you give them two options. So I think if we draft a really there's the who's the tight end that's getting all the attention. They're saying he's going to go in the first
I don't know I don't know much about
round.
the draft right now.
Yeah, I haven't been. I got to get back up on the draft. But there's like a tight end that they're
Once the
saying
combine
is
starts.
yes, he's the archetype of like a Gronk. He's like really big, really quick. So if we could get rid of Pat Fryermuth, dump him for some trades, clear up a little cap space because he got injured so much. I don't like him. But this guy, if you could get him, and then we could sign what I want them to do, and this is if money were no issue, I would want them to sign Austin Eckler or Saquon, get Fields, Saquon, get draft this young guy because we already have pretty good. Like I feel like we could do whatever with our
Wow.
receivers.
That'd be
We have Minka.
crazy.
It would be like, but you need to rebuild because they have just been doing goose egg for so long since Big Ben, to be honest. since he was throwing
Nope.
bricks out
We
there
haven't
with
done
the
anything
fucking
since Big Ben.
yeah. So they need to like really make some bigger moves because they can't wait. Pittsburgh will not let them wait another 5 to 7 years to rebuild. We already have been waiting 3 years to rebuild.
Like
It
Tomlin
hasn't
won't
shown
last
any
that long.
juice. He's got to do it now, like right now. And I think if they could pull those off, Saquon or Austin Eckler with Justin Fields, draft that young first round tight end, game over. You don't need to even improve the O line or anything. They just run like crazy at you.
I would
So
like
that's
to
what
see
I would
that
want.
with Deontay Johnson and George Pickens on the outside. You know, you got TJ Watt. You got some players, you know?
I think, by the way, real quick on Pickens, um, I think they're going to dump him the same way they dumped Claypool. Um, they have a really strong stance if they can't manage an attitude they've shown that if they can manage Antonio Brown, they can manage anyone. But once they go past a certain line of disrespect in the locker room, it just doesn't do well. And that dude is like, I was like, bro, you're a young receiver who is like real streaky,
Oh yeah.
and your route running is so hit or miss. You're literally like, I'm going to run a streak for 40 yards and do a really acrobatic catch, but you can't do what Antonio Brown did with the route running. Antonio Brown was so good because of his route running in his hands. This guy does like one Odell catch and he thinks he's, Antonio Brown, which he
And he
will never
plays with
be.
a physical attitude, which you like, right?
But he disrespects the coaches, he disrespects his teammates. He has no like he has not earned any enough credibility. Like having a spectacular catch does not earn you credibility. Winning and getting those mid-tier passes with building confidence, helping your quarterback build confidence, have your O line feel good that he could get the ball out in 8 to 12 yards and you could get some good yak. That's what builds a team, and that's what'll get you more and more of those spectacular catch opportunities. And I think he's a bitch, and I hope he hears this. And I am going to tweet at him later, and I'm going to tell him he's a bitch. Pickens, you a bitch.
On that note,
Yeah.
we are gonna we're gonna go. All right, cue it up, baby. Cue up that video.
Oh shit. Yeah.
0 seconds. So we're gonna react to ranking the NFL theme songs. We got 2 minutes here of NFL theme songs. We got from fucking Thursday Night Football. We got Monday Night Football. We got CBS. We got Fox. We got all the football intro songs. We're gonna rank them in. We're gonna react to this ranking. Okay, this ranking video of ranking those intro songs and whatnot. And I have flown through my vodka crayons. I'm just gonna say that right now. I have not paced myself whatsoever. So I am ready to listen to these songs. Are you ready, Jared? Are you good?
Yeah. Turn that jukebox on, baby.
Ready? All right. So we're gonna start this in 3, 2, 1. Start it. Thursday Night Football. It's good.
I think it's a meh. I think it needs more jazz flute.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh yeah. This Thursday Night Football one's good.
What
Ooh.
instruments are these? This is my shit right here. This is how I
Monday
wake
Night
up every
Football.
morning. I wake up every day to this song.
Ooh. Ooh, this is good though. I like Sunday Night Football. Oh, this is bringing the
That's like when the
nostalgia back,
Avengers come
dude.
in.
I'm
That's
getting
like an
chills from
Avengers.
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, it's a good intro song.
Ooh. This is Sunday afternoon, baby. Oh, I love the CBS one. I love the CBS one. Ooh.
Yo, the Fox. Can we talk for a second, real quick, though, about the Fox robots? How they've just been
Oh
using
yeah, dude. The
robots for
Fox
so long.
robot.
Like, what kind of like rejected Transformer art director came in and made these stupid robots in the like 80s, and they haven't done anything to them?
All right. I'm backing out of this bitch. Yeah, man. First of all, I loved the Fox robot. I'm gonna say that.
What?
I loved how corny it was. I was a kid. You're a couple years older than me too, so you gotta remember when the Fox robot was a thing. I was a little bit younger. I loved the corniness of it. Transformers was a thing back when it came out, and it was just like Fox was the in your face, corny ass bullshit, like just like flashy, corny ass network. And I'm about that. I like that, like give me the flash, give me the corniness. As long as it's authentic, I enjoyed the robot. I liked him. But I'll tell you right now, I got hyped from that dude. Like that first of all, Sunday Night Football. The Sunday Night Football song, man, that gave me nostalgic chills. I don't know what it is. I think it was ranked third in that list. And I'll agree because CBS Sunday afternoon. You hear that CBS football intro, you think Sunday afternoon, you're thinking like lazy Sunday. You get nostalgic chills. I think playing pass with my dad when I'm a teenager. Like I hear that CBS one,
Okay, all
nostalgia
right. I
again.
so two things. It's got nostalgia vibes, so I get that part. As a grown ass man, though, I know you still look like a hairy baby, but as a grown ass man,
I do.
as a grown ass man, Monday night and the idea of like your week, your work week, and all this stuff is happening and all this shit. And then all of a sudden you get Monday night football and you get to like forget about all this bullshit and like hang with the boys, watch it with your friends, you watch by yourself, go out to a bar, whatever, whatever. It's like such a good break because Mondays are so bad.
Oh yeah.
Sundays you have the whole day, which is great, and everyone loves like really sinking into a whole day of football. However, Mondays blow, and this makes it like 10x better. So I'm still gonna put ESPN Monday Night Football as my personal one. However, I would Kool Aid Man run through a wall with the Fox one.
Oh yeah,
You know
dude.
what I mean? Kind of a
Exactly,
thing.
right?
And then the other one, what was the other one? Like the number three or whatever. That had very like if the Avengers created like a shitty anime series made for like kids who can't read good, it would be like that would be their intro song.
I like that one too. I think my favorite one though, it's crazy. I think my favorite one, I don't even think the Eagles ever played to this one, which is funny, is the CBS one, number two. I love that CBS one. I think of just playing pass with my dad, dude. Like and it just brings back such nostalgia. Like CBS football intro is Sunday afternoon intro, like music football. That's what I think of is Sunday afternoon. And it's
Okay, so here's for those viewers and fans out there who don't know this gentleman. I haven't, again, we haven't met in person yet. We're like virtual homies through gaming, which we'll get into. However, he's been hyping up that his arm is a rocket for throwing
oh yeah,
for like a year now.
it's throw
And
baby.
yeah, he said he's a thrower is like his superpower. So I think we need to do a 2 and 6 sports drunk Olympic challenges.
Absolutely.
And I want to see the rocket.
Let's go. 100%. I mean, we it's funny enough, if for anyone who's been following since day one, 2 and 6 sports used to be more of a show than a podcast format, and we started doing these intros and whatnot. Excuse me. And one of those intros, one of those intros, we did this fucking uh this one where I threw a beer can to my roommate and he ran and he was sprinting down the field and he shotguns a beer while he's sprinting and then he catches the beer that I threw a Hail Mary to him and then he shotguns that as well. So like I honestly feel like if we did some sort of like crazy intros like that, like skits and whatnot, it would be a hit on this channel because I've done that before and they were a fucking blast.
Wait, hold on, real quick. So you know how like in like those kind of organizations and corporate dodgeball, corporate softball leagues, where it's like Joe Schmo's law firm against Betty Boop's tire shop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They basically you're getting kind of drunk while you're playing softball. Did they have that for flag football where you're kind of
Probably.
getting? But is there one where it's like drunk football?
Oh, I don't know about drunk. I don't know about
That's
that.
what I'm saying. I think there's a mix between getting all lubed up on some liquor, some beer, or something, or White Claws, but over like a 2 hour period of like really kind of sweating out and seeing the decay of certain people and the overhyped performance of other people. And then just like complete, and someone accidentally tackling somebody, and then someone doing your crazy like one-handed catch, who's like 5 beers deep. I think that's a fun idea.
It would be a drunk flag football league, you know? Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. I'll tell you, all right, quick story.
Hmm.
Let's move on to Apex Legends real quick, but quick story. At the time I almost killed a girl. So
Jesus.
me and my current roommate and my friend Pasta John, I used to work with him at the college Bears Den, which is where Bears Den Media comes from. It was my
Hmm.
first. Um, he used to work with Pasta John. His girl at the time, his girlfriend, her work was having a softball league game, a softball game. And they asked us, he asked me if me and my roommate Anthony wanted to play in the softball game for their work because they needed some extra players. So we were like, fuck yeah, of course we want to play a softball game. You know what I'm saying? Like I love that shit. We live for that shit. We were like probably like 20, 24, 23 at the time. I had hair. So yeah. And so we're just getting blasted, smoking a little ganja, fucking taking a bunch of shots and drinking beers and shit before the game. So we're ripped. We're absolutely ripped for this game, but I'm feeling good because this is my heyday. I'm lifting weights, I'm stretching every day, I'm running for fucking miles, I'm lifting a bunch of weights. I'm good. I am at my physical peak during this time, and we're getting messed up. So I don't really have a sense of like this is just a work softball game. I don't have to try that hard. When I go out that
Mm-hmm.
field, I'm going 100 miles an hour. All right. So I got up to bat. This girl throws me an underarm like pitch because it's softball. It's just an underarm soft pitch. And I see this thing and my eyes are fucking gigantic. I just see it just coming at me nice and slow. And I fucking hammer it. I hit a line drive right back at her face. And she just got out of the way. She just got out of the way of that fucking line drive. I swear to God, she'd be dead if that hit her. I made, I remember, oh man, boom! I remember feeling that. I remember feeling the contact of that ball, that bat, and everything. I just was like, oh yeah, I fucking cranked this thing. And then I saw it was going at her face, and I didn't even run towards first base. I was just like, oh my God, I might have killed somebody. She avoided it, thankfully. Didn't hit her at all. I run to first base. It's a single and whatnot because like it took me forever to start running because I wanted to make sure it didn't hit her.
Of course. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
oh my good Lord, man. That was the day I almost killed somebody on a softball field. It was awesome.
But that's happened in baseball, like
Mhm.
for real, for real. So it is a real dangerous thing. I had the craziest thing that ever happened to me as a pitcher. So I was like a hardcore pitcher. As I know we've talked about this before about yeah, how awesome it is to be on the mound and like really throwing heaters out there.
It was good.
But one time I had a similar thing happen. I'm throwing really hard. It's high school. Yeah, physical peak, maybe not there as much as at 25, but still like really mobile. But still, I'm playing against our one of our big rivals, and there's the big, like, unlike you, like the big chunky guy, comes up, and I was like, oh, this guy's easy. I'm just gonna throw heat at this kid. He first pitch, super unexpected. He hits it right back at my face. This is true. This is a true story. And it hit the brim of my hat, and I caught it. So if
Whoa.
it went anywhere, talking about close, if it went anywhere else, it was lights out. But it hit me right here, and I went back like this, and I just like caught it in the air, and it was like I needed like a real breather, as I'm sure that corporate softball pitcher, who's probably named like Debbie, um, like really needed it's that's scary out there. But it's even scarier playing against us in Apex Legends.
Boom. Perfect segue. All right, baby. So we're on to the esports segment here. We're gonna go battle royale esports introduction. What is Apex Legends, and why is Apex Legends still so great? Almost 5 years later. Insane. Insane. It's been around for this long and it's still this popular, right? I'll tell you right now, it's simple. It's so simple. Two words. I bet you know what they are. Gunplay. That's it. Apex Legends has the best gunplay in the business. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I 100% agree. I think if I were to add a third word with a plus in the middle, it's
I know what you're gonna say.
mobi-
Yeah, I
mobility,
was gonna say
and yeah,
movement. Yes, yes,
yeah,
exactly.
because other
Best
so
movement in
okay,
the game too. It's the best gunplay, but plus best movement. What's better than Apex Legends? Please tell me right now. What's a better game?
I think so. The other for those that aren't into the esports, competitive first person shooter, big gaming worlds out there. There's Call of Duty with a lot of variations in Call of Duty.
Amazing
There's
graphics.
sport. So they Call of Duty, what I think they do really well is they do a great job about adding a lot of different mechanics into the game to give you this edge and give you something to really work for, because you're still playing as a real, like a semi-real human, unless you get into some of the Call of Duties where you're playing a real human who then can get these like otherworldly perks like silent footsteps and all that kind of stuff, right? So it gives you something to hunt for, something to work for that still feels realistic. But then you have cartoony land on Fortnite on the other side of the spectrum that really they've done a really great job, I think, about being an entertainment brand. I think they've designed that whole game to be a pop culture entertainment phenomenon with partnerships, concert series, all that kind of stuff. But the way the graphics and the way you play, it's like, if I use the word fun in a traditional gaming sense, it's a fun, entertaining game to play. Is it as competitively motivating to play the way sports are, that you're like hyper competitive, you want to like knock that person's face off
That's some goofy shit.
it's goofy, yeah. And then where we came from, which was PUBG, is hyper real
Mm-hmm.
games like that.
Oh,
And
PUBG is
PUBG's
so good.
not as big in the States as it is, like it's still big in Asia.
Mhm.
And you have all these games, that Apex does such a great job because it has a character-based abilities with lore for those who are into lore and going deep, really deep into game storytelling.
I used to like literally make events days out of those those Apex Legends stories from the Outlands or the gameplay trailers for the new seasons. Like me and my roommate would get together, would hang out, would like do like would smoke a bowl, whatever, like and watch those trailers, would make a thing of it, dude. It would be a great time, dude. We would make a thing of it, be like, all right, we're ready, we're gonna start the shit. Like it was exciting. I loved the lore of Apex Legends. Like that was such a
they
big part of why I got so hyped for the game was the lore.
I know that they do, for anyone who's like other big competitive games, there's like League of Legends and these huge global games that came way before any of these battle royale first person shooter games. And they have crushed it with lore. They do these cinematic, you can go to YouTube and watch like 8 hours of cinematics about the lore, and then go to Reddit and find all this deep stuff. You can do in game lore stuff. They have, I would put them not as broad or deep of content mix about the world of Apex Legends compared to a League of Legends, but the quality is at the same level. That's the thing. Like the quality of that entertainment is so good. Then you're right. The gameplay, the guns and the gun performance and the way that they've managed loot and the ability to do that, I think is really smart. We'll get into what's changed about that. And then yeah, your ability to do really complex movement that gets progressively better over weeks and months and years. Like it's not like just because you were really good at movement on some other weird game doesn't translate to this. To me, in my opinion,
Mhm.
you need to really build up your Apex. If you're like a hardcore content creator on YouTube or Twitch or something, a bunch of that will carry over. But it still took people like a year and a half to 2 years to be like a top movement player. Oh my god! As he fills up his cup with cranberry juice or something. Yeah. The So I think that's really interesting. Yeah. Then you got the other thing that I think it has going for it is really early on. Really early on, they added stupid shit like the mobile app version of the game,
I played
and
that for a
like
little bit. You ever play it? It was fun.
no, I did not play, but I knew it was good. They had and then they did Switch for the super casuals. Like I think I shit on Respawn, which is the game studio, and EA, the publisher, a lot because there are a lot of bugs and there's a lot of stuff that really sucks and they should have done a lot of stuff. We're in season 20 right now. For anyone who doesn't know
Crazy,
about
right?
game stuff, it's
I was
insanely
playing
long.
season 0. There was no seasons yet when I was playing. Nuts.
Oh my god! Do you remember what were before Ranked came out? What was it called? Uh, you kind of had to earn these weird badges and shit. Anyway, it was like the game has evolved so much and it's really really great. And if anyone on here um, hasn't seen the game as much, I think you should follow Bears Den Media on Twitch and check that out, or Wep Sword on Twitch, which is me. And you should watch us goof around and have fun. We're by no means like professional players, but we're fucking good,
I think
and
what makes our
we have fun.
streams, sorry to cut you off there, but I
Yeah.
think what makes our streams so fun and engaging is you go to like Hal's stream or something like that. You would love to like talk with Hal, right? That would be fucking awesome. I'm sure back in the day when he didn't have as many followers, you could go to his stream and you could actually type in his chat and he would answer you, right? And that would be fucking dope, right? It doesn't happen anymore. It straight up doesn't happen anymore because like he can't. That's not his fault. He's getting
You have
fucking
to donate over $100 for him to read your question.
yeah. And it's not his fault. Like I said, like he has so many people typing in his chat. He can't possibly acknowledge all of that, right? So what makes Bears Den Media and Web Swords so entertaining is we're trying, baby. We're playing ranked. We're going hard. We're on our roads to masters every season, and we're acknowledging chat. It's fun. It's part of it. Like that's a big part of like the small streams, man. Is like the ability to acknowledge your chat as a small streamer who doesn't have like multiple thousands of viewers commenting at the same time. We're able to build a personal connection with the chat. It's actually really fun. It
Mm-hmm.
like if you or Yak or any of my friends are not online and I have to solo queue or whatever, I'll pop on the stream. Someone might pop in, one of my followers, they'll ask me some questions, say, hey, how you doing or whatever. Like, and you get engaged with your chat. That makes all the difference in the world and it makes it a really, really fun experience. So like honestly, there's some of my favorite channels ever were small time streamers. They weren't like big. I don't None of my favorite channels were big streamers. They were all small channels where I was able to personally connect with the person streaming and like they were actually engaging with me back and forth, while playing
Yeah.
the game, which is the spirit of Twitch, right? Like
But the thing that makes viewing Apex Legends, esports, big streamers, and us even more fun is there's always something crazy fucking happening in this game in Apex Legends. There's always something to either be like, oh fuck, that was amazing. Oh fuck, that sucks. I can't believe that happened. Or like uh someone's just like when when are these when you play by yourself and you randomly match them with these people, where do these people come from? If they could hear them, you get matched with some really goofy people and the stories are really funny. So it's like it's got a broad interest, group of people. But I think Apex Legends is such a good game. The competitive scene is getting better and better each year as well to watch, be a viewer of, for us to view that. I find it really fun. I get just as hyped for what's called ALGS when that plays every weekend or every couple of weekends. It's like I get pretty excited about it just as much as other like watching football. Not
Absolutely.
as much as football. I like football more, but it's fun.
Absolutely. And that's a
Yeah.
perfect transition to like the ALGS. Let's talk about that a little bit, man. Like it's like the NFL season. When the ALGS starts, man, yeah, I get more excited for football. Like it's real life. Like it's not that gaming doesn't have an aspect to real life to it, because it does, because it's like there's real life people making real life choices, in a fake world, but they're real life choices. So, and the choices, like, you can make wrong choices, you can make correct choices, you can make slightly correct, and like that's what's fun about the gaming world, but it's not real. So like that's what makes the NFL so fun for me. And like the Eagles season, like being bad for a while, a bunch of seasons, and then like signing and getting success in the 2017 Super Bowl, and then signing Jalen Hurts and having his breakout season. Like, it's fun because it's real and there's real world consequences. But the ALGS, man, I get just as hyped for that. Like, that shit is exciting. I love the ALGS. Once they start streaming live and you get to really like watch these games happening in real time, it's like it's tense. You feel the tension. You're like, oh my God, is Dark Zero gonna win again? Like, and then Dark Zero gets eliminated. You're like, fuck yeah, like they're like the evil villains because they're so good, and you just don't want to see them keep winning. And then like for some reason you continue to root for TSM, even though like they're kind of like Dark Zero. I don't know why people root for TSM, but they don't root for Dark Zero. It's weird. Like, what do you think about that as far as the ALGS is concerned? Like, why? What? I know it's a specific question in a microcosm of the ALGS, but like, why do you think people root so hard for TSM, but then root against Dark Zero?
So this is gonna sound a little this is gonna have a culture bent to it, my response. So for those who don't know,
Perfectly.
Dark
Whatever you think
Zero
it
and
is.
TSM are two huge gaming organizations, really well backed in a bunch of different games. But in this specific scenario, Dark Zero brought on a team who was out of the Asia Pacific region. They were they were in Australia. The team is out of Australia, and they had very poor competition. So they were very easy. They have really good team. They have a great IGL, but who's really, really, really insane trash talking, really negative on
Oh
certain
yeah,
times,
crazy dude.
even more so than Hal. We'll talk about TSM for a second. But
I
Jen
think that
Burton
would
on
be
that
impossible,
team,
but it's true.
yeah. Jen Burton is the one, arguably one of the top 2 to 3 controller players. Yeah, baby. Tito's. Oh my God. Are we doing shots now?
No, I'm making another drink.
Have you made drinks before on the pod?
No, never done.
Ah,
Not on cam.
that's what I'm saying. This is the benefit of the Zoom version versus your high production, the other one
Exactly.
you do.
It's nice to
So
have an option for both, to be honest with you. But yes, I agree.
amen. Amen. So there's really good players, and then they have this other guy, Sharky. He left. He's on another team now. They're not doing so great, whatever. But their competition was really bad, and they're from Australia. Their competition needed to increase because they were not getting the practice they needed to be able to really win consistently at this time. They moved to the right before they moved to the States, though. They won and they beat out TSM. They moved to the North America region. All of them move. They come over here. So I think the reason why people don't like them as much is their IGL is really negative, more than he is positive. And the difference is he's not funny or entertaining. The way Hal is entertaining, he's emotive. He has his camera on. He's engaged with stream. So their IGL for Dark Zero doesn't really stream that often. That's changed over the past 2 to 3 months since the new ALGS season started. But he wouldn't stream. He didn't make content. He was just like a pro player. So the only view you got of him is him freaking out negatively, and then a couple of like, "We're the fucking best." So
Yeah.
you didn't get a full sense of his personality. He's not from North America, so you're not going to like root for him the same way you would root for someone who's been here a long time. And the other thing is that his team also didn't have the same personality chemistry that TSM does. So TSM has the most wins, the most prizes, most money made. They have their IGL. Imperial Hal has is the best non-arguable the best player in Apex Legends in terms of professional esports. And I think he's an equivalent IGL to Dark Zero's IGL, but he's a better shooter and player. And that's changing a little bit this season of ALGS, but historically, Hal had more kills, Hal had more damage. Hal had a better he streams like 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. He's chatting on Twitter all the time. Like, and his team has great chemistry with Reps, who's like the heart and the anchor of their esports team, which you need, just like you need that on a lot of teams. And then they just brought on Verholst a year and a half ago, who's like the quiet thunder, who's their big shooter, right? So he's going to
I thought
go in
that was a
and
huge replacement. Like chemistry wise, I think it was Snipe Down was good for TSM, I thought, chemistry wise, because he would clap back at Hal but they have Raven now, so they don't so much need that. Like they have a
well,
voice.
they had G Dolphin with Snipe Down, and that was not good. So the Raven, you're right, the Raven being their coach. So as you know, anyone in esports, you do have a coach, just like you have coaches or whatever. You have analysts, you have analytical people, and their coach is arguably, and the Dark Zero coach, they're also buddies. Raven and I forget the Dark Zero coach. They're like really tight, I think, and they're really solid. But you're right. I think Snipe Down was really good. I think his best gaming days are behind him.
Absolutely. And like that there's an emotional intelligence part of this, right? So
Mm.
Snipe Down was good for team chemistry, I felt, because he was willing to clap back at Hal. And that made Hal have to make sure that what he was saying was true. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't yell at your teammates if what you're saying is not true. So the fact that Snipe Down would yell back at Hal, I think that kind of helped mold Hal in a way to make sure that like, all right, I'm gonna be self-reflective a little bit more and make sure that when I am raging, because that's just who Hal is. Hal's admitted before in the past that I had a dad that was like this. This is how my
Mm-hmm.
dad was to me. He was very like in your face and like,
Intense,
yeah, exactly.
intense.
And
But
there,
I would say like all in. They're like all in.
yeah,
You know.
and like listen, and Hal's talked about this on stream before where he talks about like if you talk to somebody in that way, then it can motivate them because it will shock them out of like just like an apathetic state in a way. And there's a lot of truth to what Hal says, and people might say like he's toxic and all that kind of stuff, but I think there's a lot of truth to the being quote unquote harsh or tough love or like overly aggressive or whatever. I think as long as you're able to have a personal relationship with your teammates or your coworkers or whoever it is outside of that, so they can understand and see that you care about them, I think that you're able to be aggressive like that when it's like crunch time and when you're working and competing, and they'll understand it's not personal and that it's just like you're trying to send a message like, no, this is not okay or whatever, this has to change or whatever it
Mm.
is. Being aggressive or being quote unquote cringy or toxic or whatever some people might want to call it is actually very beneficial, and some people need that.
But also, it's two things. It's great content. So when this guy Hal,
Pretty
he's
much.
wearing like
Yeah.
so this guy he's playing in a big ALGS game. So just so you all know, there's championships and playoffs that are in person at like big LAN events and big conference centers and sports arenas and stuff. However, oh my, however the however the other the games leading up to that are all virtual. So he's wearing this guy Hal is wearing he's like tall and lanky and skinny. He's wearing like booty shorts with his like team jersey on, and he like slams his controller,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's like
I mean, you said
throwing.
throw.
He threw talking about throwing earlier. He threw his controller like right
I'll,
through a wall.
I'll tell you what, dude. That throw, if that was a stone skipping across a lake, that's at least 12 skips. That was great
I
form.
would give that definitely even over under 12 skips. It could have been over. I would
That
have
was
gone
a
the over.
that was a great rock skipping form. Not a
Yeah.
baseball, not a baseball throw or a football throw, but if you're skipping a rock on a lake or whatever, look at Hal's form. Throwing that controller at his wall. Fantastic.
Fantastic. But the other thing is, so really good content, but with Snipe Down versus Verholst. So Snipe Down also would try to always do his own thing. This guy, for those who don't know, Snipe Down, he's like, if not has the most win, he's like a legend in Halo, and he transferred to Apex. So he's been like not an IGL, but he's been a very vocal, aggressive, winning player. He's like in his 30s, and he's been doing it since he was like 16 professionally or something like that. Since he was really young, and he made all this money, was very successful before esports was what it is now, and like 100,000 person views and all this other stuff. So he's like trying to make calls and push back. So now he's gonna like if the IGL Imperial House says, "Yo, you can't be doing that," and if the IGL is wrong, he will snap back. But a lot of the time, 50-50%, Snipe Down would try to go do his own thing, or Snipe Down would take a weird angle on the thing.
Yep.
Versus Verholst is definitely very centered. He's like very yoga kind of vibes to him, and he'll push back on Hal too, but in a way that's like almost like from a therapeutic perspective. Like he'll get angry, but it'll be like, what you're saying is this, but what you weren't paying attention to was this, and I know you weren't because you didn't call it or say it.
Mhm.
I did, and you disregarded it, and then you made the call, and I followed you, and it wasn't the right call, etc. So I think it's like this mix between Jordan, aka Reps, being like the heart of the group and like their anchor, Verhulst being this incredible like damage output kill machine, but very yoga centered and not like hyper emotional. And then Hal being like, I have eyes on every part of my head. I'm seeing and thinking about what's happening. I've been trained by their coach Raven, so I don't have to think about everything. I've got presets for a lot of stuff. And he could just make a call and go with his instinct based on his experience, and then use that energy to push his team to be like, it's time to go now. Get your fucking shit and rally. We're going to go wipe this. It's like this chemistry they have right now. I don't think it's going to last forever. I actually think hot take. I think Reps is going to get dropped after this season.
Whoa.
So I think having heart is good, but if you look at their kills and damage output and the reasons why they've lost in most weeks lately, it's because Reps is totally not locked in the way he's normally locked in. He'll have really good games, but like two ALGSs ago, he won the games for them, and he has not been winning games for them. I think they're going to drop him, and I think they're going to pick up a young. I think they're going to pick up a young controller player, and they're going to go 3 controller players, and I think they're going to go with someone who's like got all the heart and stuff, but can put out more damage and be like. Also, Reps is like doesn't produce a lot of content. He goes on stream, never has a camera on, never really talks to his chat that much. He's not that entertaining to watch. Like his gameplay skills are very, like I'd say 90% of the time they're just really solid, but they're nothing flashy that you want to take clips of or
All
watch clips
true,
of.
but it just seems like he fits the team chemistry, you know?
For now, but try not winning. They're not great right now. They're in, I think, in the current rankings. I think in North America they're in 6th or 5th place, and Reps has not helped them. I don't think. Like I think Hal and Verhulst are like way outpacing him in terms of game performance.
I agree. And that's like That's
That's
it's
like
that
snipe down. You said it though, right? It's
it's
like,
sad though, right? Like you don't want to see like Hal and Reps separated. Like they've been core members of TSM. Oh
but if they,
man.
I'll put it this way: if they don't make the grand finals for some reason, so we still have what, 2 rounds of playoffs to go through. If they don't, oh my god, you're fucking hilarious. I got to figure out how to do this. I'm gonna get you two when you're fucking talking. I think Jordan, aka Reps, is going to get dropped, and I think it's going to be. I don't think anyone. I don't think even a top 5 org is going to pick him up. I think he's going to go to some makeshift team. He's going to have the same issues Albarelli had, where he's really talented, but he just will not be able to get it together without that chemistry. Like it'll be a big thing for him, and he just doesn't put in the work. Verhulst has a big growing YouTube channel. He's very active. Like Reps is like every one of his like it's a bigger picture of what it means to be an esport player compared to a football player. Like you need to help grow esports.
Yeah.
You don't need to
Yeah.
help grow the NFL. You need to help maintain the
Great
NFL.
content outside of the tournaments.
Yeah. And he's just not great at doing it. You see him when they do these, for anyone who doesn't know, like TSM org, they have their own channels, all this stuff, and they make them do this content. Reps has the worst. He's like monotone, apathetic. He doesn't want to be there. And even when he's like laughing or trying to be funny, it's so not entertaining to watch that dude. It is so not entertaining. Like he hasn't done anything other than his like wow top 5 moments that I find good. I like him as a human being. From what I've seen as a human being, I think he's fucking awesome. And Reps, I hope you watch this fucking thing and you prove me wrong.
I like yeah, I agree. I also I agree with that because I don't want to see Reps leave TSM. Like he's a core member. That'd be sad,
All
man. I
right,
like
but what about if Mandy, Mandy from
yeah.
Europe, he's TSM. What if they move Mandy to NA and they made Mandy the anchor? Mandy's like 20, early 20s, big energy, big damage output, really creative, great content creator. Chemistry wise is really, really, really like positive vibes.
It's tough, right? Because TSM needs an anchor. How's the IGL? Verhulst is their fragger, your secondary fragger. Regardless, they can interchange them. They need an anchor.
But
How's
Mandy is the anchor on his teams. When he was on, Mandy's a top 10, I believe, globally, top 10 esports Apex earnings. In the beginning of Apex, in the first ALGS and the second one, they won. They were the only other team between Dark Zero and TSM that won. Their EU team was so good. He was the anchor. He wasn't the fragger. He's mouse and key.
what would he play on TSM with this meta? Like we'll shift into the season 20 meta, all right? We're
Oh
talking about
shit, we didn't
season
get into
20
this.
meta and the perk
Yeah.
changes and all that kind of good stuff. It's a good part to it. Like let's start with that. Like say Mandy replaces Reps on TSM.
Mm-hmm.
In the season 20 meta, what legend is Mandy playing if he's anchoring?
Because they're in the pro league right now in EU. I'm trying to think about what he's playing because he's on the top 20 list. I think he's been playing what's like a mobility character.
Exactly. That's why I was surprised when you said anchor. Like I don't he I don't know if he's an anchor.
Well, what's Reps playing right now?
I don't know, but I know he's an anchor. Reps is the anchor. I'm pretty sure he was
Well, Reps was arguably one of the top 5 best Gibby Gibraltar players. But that's fallen a little bit out of meta until Bears Den Media comes on and makes it
well, I
popular
bring it
again.
back and we win two
Yeah,
games today, baby. We won two
yeah,
games. Jibby,
huge dubs.
yeah, we were playing Jibby meta and we won two games today.
I gotta go look at the fucking. I gotta go look at this
Do you
shit.
think our two wins today? First of all, we
Two
need to.
wins and we didn't play that long.
All right. First of all, let's talk about this.
Do it.
When Gears of War was a thing, Me and my clan, DOH. That was our clan name, Defenders of Honor. DOH for Gears of War 1. That was our clan
Nice.
name. We were on gamebattles.com. Dude, we were in the top 20. There were thousands and thousands of clans on there. We were in the top 20, dude. When I was 16 years old, we were playing Gears of War 1 on gamebattles.org or gamebattles.com, whatever the fuck it was.
Mm.
DOH was our clan name, or was our clan tag, Defenders of Honor. Man, do we have clan battles or something like that for Apex? I would love I would love to get into clan battles with Apex or something like that. I don't know if it's like I don't know how that would work with a
They
with
have all these small like nothing is, you know, you're right, nothing is taken off like that the way it did for all these other big FPS games with clans and tournaments and like even just for fun stuff. It they Respawn didn't build it into the game core gameplay, and no big tournament or app or cross platform like cross console, cross PC has done it in a big way. I'm probably sure it's a small way, but it would be fun to do that.
oh, absolutely, 100%. I'm 100 dude, some of the best times in my life it's it's kind of funny when I think back. It's just like we're clan battles. Dude, I used to love that, dude. We would get so hyped. And it's like, man, I'm 5'10. I'm not a big guy. I don't weigh a lot. Like I couldn't play all these sports. What I could do is like do these clan battles. It's a way that I could compete with the best. Not like the best in the world, but I mean on that one website, man, we're ranked in the top 20 in the whole world on that one website. Like it's an avenue for people who are passionate about something and they want to try and get better. It's a space for them to compete, and man, that is fun. I don't know if anyone is into Apex Legends or whatnot, but man, if you guys are, continue to like, subscribe to this 2 and 6 Sports channel. I'm telling you what, right now, I'm gonna look into this clan nonsense and whatnot, and what Apex Legends has to offer for clans, because whatever they have to offer, I'm going to be sending it to Jared here, aka Web Sword, because I want to get involved. I want to get involved in some sort of competitive aspect to Apex, because ranked, I'm telling you right now, it feeds me a little bit. It feeds that competitive like hunger that I have a little bit. But man, if we were able to do some sort of competitive like clan battles or something like that,
Something with more skin in the game.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They have
You know,
those. They have tournaments online where you can enter for free or whatever. Like we're gonna be doing it. Like and subscribe. Comment down below whatever you think our team comp should be. If you're gonna support us or whatnot. I'm 100% all in. We're gonna be looking into some sort of clan website or clan organization for Apex Legends. I want to do it. I'm doing it regardless.
hell yeah. The uh fun fact, I was a top 100 Madden player in
Whoa.
like 20, it was 2016. And this was, I held in the top 100, which was a pretty big deal at that time
Yeah.
for me at least.
Top
And
100 is crazy, dude. This thousands and thousands and thousands of players.
but that's the leaderboard. Like Apex Legends doesn't have a leaderboard. It's the only major FPS game that doesn't have a leaderboard for even a small taste of what you were just talking about, man. Like there just wasn't any of that. So, but what's been hot about what's like motivating us, I think, for this season, there's a couple of things that are really cool. So just I'll hit a couple of high notes, and then you want to like fill in the rest of it. I'll hit a couple of cool things about season 20. So season 20 was probably the biggest departure for the core game mechanic since the early days of the game. This was like a big risk, big swing for them. They need to do a lot of stuff because they had a bunch of analytical metric issues and a lot of soft customer feedback or gamer feedback and pro feedback and influencer feedback. That was like the game was basically stale. So they basically did introduce or they have a shield progression system. So when you're shooting somebody, your shield will go up. But now they've completely diversified how you do that. So they've added all these new in world, in game mechanics, and almost like micro challenges to go out into this like really open place to be able to boost your shield up. But only one person needs to do it. Your whole team doesn't need to do it. So you could like take different risks like that. The other thing that they so that affects the way the shield system works. So there's no loop in the loot pool, all the loot in the universe that's randomly generated, supposedly randomly generated. You're basically taking shields out of it. So now they have to fill it with a little bit of other stuff and a lot more challenges to go get this thing done. Then what else have they been doing, dude? That got you like really motivated? That really changed the game.
I mean, dude, the perk system. I love the new perk system. Like in the Evo shields, it's what makes the Evo shields cool is it's like you can no longer get lucky and find a purple. You can no longer get lucky and come across a death box. Everyone in that squad who killed people or whatever had purple. So boom, there's a purple on the death box. You're not just gonna find a better shield. You have to do things in the game to earn. I I'm telling you, man, I know you were skeptical at first when we were talking about season 20
No,
before it came out. I think this new shield system is amazing. I think it works to it prevents people from ratting, first of all, and being able to get like a red or a purple shield or whatever without doing anything in game. You have to do shit. Like you can't just hide in a bush and or you can't scavenge a purple shield off a box. You got to do shit. You got to scan beacons. You got to hit Evo harvesters. You have to do stuff in game. So even if you're gonna hide, like, look, even if that's your end game, you're like, say you're solo queuing. I solo queue a lot. Maybe 40% of the time when I'm playing this game, I'll solo queue it. A lot of the time, your teammates will either hot drop and die off the drop, or they'll die in some ridiculous situation, and you're left with a decision to either you're going to die with honor, I guess, in like just fighting with them for no reason in 1v3 a squad, or you can try and hide and eventually replicate their banners and bring them back, maybe, hopefully. But you're really
that's a
going
big thing that Apex did, though. Just so if no one knows, they were one of the first battle royale games where you could, if your teammate died, you could bring him back, and then they've completely innovated how they do that now, and your ability to do that quickly through mobile respawns, all these other stuff they've had over other seasons. But there's like, and the way they've like categorized your legend to be able to, you don't even need to go to their dead body, their death box to go get their key card or their banner to go be able to get them back in. You can use other means called the crafter to do so. So there's like so many ways that they've made the game more sophisticated but also more fun. So the reward is there, like you're talking about, to diversify the game. But if you're solo queuing, meaning like going in by yourself and getting randomly match made with people based on their rank or their general, what's called MMR, it's really, really frustrating at times for me this season. What's holding me back on this season is when you're playing with people that are dumb gunners and they're not thinking, which is a lot of people in these shooter games, these FPS games. It is really frustrating and like hard to stream sometimes, or hard to like have longevity to have.
a lot of these solos will
Yeah.
like ego chow people, you know?
It's really quite frustrating. It doesn't. I don't know if it's worse than other season, but right now it feels worse because the game is more complex, and not in a bad way, in a really
Big
fun
skill
way.
gap. Big skill.
Yeah.
It's fun
See,
because like a lot of your teammates suck, but at the same time, it gives you like a lot of room to grow and get better and better at the game. You're like, oh, I could improve in this area, in this area, in this area, but also my teammate fucking is an idiot and they suck.
yeah. So, but here's the way that's helped with the frustration around that. So, there's a lot of casual players. So, we're with casual, but we're like very competitive in nature. but we're not like dicks about it. There's people that are though just really casual and they don't really care if they die. So, but what they've done this season, which I do like, is they've added new maps to their different game modes. They've added some favorite game modes back in. They've um, created a lot more ways to play the game that are more frequently changing, like the what map you're on or all that kind of stuff, to keep those casuals out of certain of the competitive system, which is what we call ranked, right? So you're still going to get a lot of shitters, but you're just going to get people who are not. It's like not that they're bad at the game or they're bad at battle royale per se. They're just not smart people, and they're just like really dumb, and they're just going on impulse and emotion and instinct, and they have really poor instinct, and they have really decent. They can even have really good gameplay, but if they're not strategically assessing what the right moves are, or should you go do these micro challenges to go get your shield up before that, because just so you, if anyone here doesn't know, time to kill TTK in Apex Legends was always such a big deal. In Call of Duty, you die in like a half a second. Here, you had the shields are so important because you had these like 5 tiers of shield plus your flesh health, so 225 damage that you had to do on a person in order to get them down or finish them. And in order to do that, you then, if you needed to pause and break away and heal, that took a lot of time. It's a very strategic game. That's why it makes it so much fun for people like us who really like thinking about the game, not just doing dumb shit.
It means it's not whoever sees whoever first wins the exchange. It's usually like whoever is the better player, you know? Like
Yeah,
it's a game like Call of Duty where it's a low TTK, like a low time to kill. Usually the situation there is it's a more realistic situation. It's more a simulation where it's whoever sees the other person first wins. Like we're in real life, if you have a gun and you see the other person first, you're gonna win. It's not whoever's better in real
in
life.
game, in game, in game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
game though, in
Mm.
game, the higher TTK means it doesn't matter who sees who first. If you're a shitty player, you get that first shot off on a player who's 10 times better than you are, they're going to be like, whoa, fuck. They're going to adjust. They're going to do whatever they know what to do. They're going to do their rebuttal, quote unquote, and you're going to get fucking destroyed if you're a worse player by 10x, you know? Like that's what's fun about Apex Legends because it you have something to work towards, like, and it's clear and defined, and but it's also very nuanced at the same time, like, which is why I think Apex Legends is not going away. I think this game is almost 5 years old at this point. I think it has at least another 5 years left in it, you know?
Well, yeah, and that's another difference between like Fortnite as well. Like Fortnite, it was like even if you're doing the old school build mode or whatever, not it was more about like your physical hand on a controller or mouse and key mechanic to build straight up or build over. You didn't have to think as much. It was just like keep building, keep building, keep building, shotgun, shotgun, the shotgun. This one, it's like it brings all the strategy for people who love strategy games with the high performance shooter thing. And I just think it's really entertaining. So all that's good. Some other shit that's changed. It's really fucking cool. Well, Mike's over here doing whatever. Is is they've added new rewards kind of stuff, which are kind of fun. They Apex Legends has the worst rewards in the game, though. Just so everyone knows, worst rewards, worst cosmetics. There's very little incentive in the ranked competition other than bragging rights of saying you're a predator. What are you making?
Oh my God.
Oh my god, steamers, cafe steamers. Oh my god, that's what they say to you when you walk into the cafe. Ooh, what a steamer. Um. So anyway, it's got a lot going on. It's really really cool. It's a really good time for an esports perspective, and that's what makes it fun to watch a professional esports league for Apex. Is it's like so dynamic, so complex, and it's like really you're watching. Not to compare him to Tom Brady, but it's a thinking person's game, like the way Tom Brady does all this work and work to be that good versus someone who just goes out on a field and like is just like a brute force, and they have like one job and they do one like a one trick pony. Like
Oh
it's a
yeah.
real, you have to be a real thinker on this one. I know we've been going for a while, so what other things do we want to hit here, dog?
No, 100%. Like that's what's fun about it is like that's what makes me keep coming back to Apex Legends, man, is the fact that it's like there's such a big learning curve, and even amongst pros there's a huge skill gap, you know? Like from the worst pro to the best pro, there's a gigantic skill gap, which I mean to some people it will make them disinterested, right? Like they want to just be able to hop
But
onto
that's
an
what the
account.
other modes are for. That's exactly what all these other fun modes are for, where you have a death match. Like my one friend who I play with, who's my one of my closest friends in the world, like this was like a year and a half ago or something, but it was just like they got really into the deathmatch mode when that came out. And they
Mhm.
never really played this game a lot. They play a lot of other open world games, strategy games, big open crazy games that are not like FPS stuff. And they really enjoyed it because like, oh, it's like I can just come right back because the stakes are so high in a ranked game because once you're dead, it's really hard to come back from that. And when you make a mistake, and this one you just make a whole bunch of mistakes and have fun, and it doesn't really matter. It's great. So they cater to them, just not for the competitive version in the game ranked, which is the step below, obviously pro league and all that kind of stuff.
And man, that's what makes Apex Rank so addicting. It's like the stakes are high. It's like it's the same thing with the NFL, man. There's 17 games. There's 17 weeks. You it's like a big deal if you lose one week. Whereas in like baseball, there's 160 whatever games. You could go on a 5 game losing streak and no one could care. Like you could win the World Series 5 game losing streak, not even a big like no one would even like blink an eye at a 5 game losing streak. Whereas in the NFL or like Apex Legends, where we're talking about now, ranked, the stakes are high. You can't go on a 5 game losing streak. Like you can't die on drop 5 games in a row once you hit gold. Like
Mm-hmm.
like the stakes are high. It means something, and the skill gap is high. Like that's what's so fun about like the whole battle royale, right? It took over the gaming space when Fortnite came out, or Patient Zero. What was the game
It
before?
was there. The game. It was PUBG was before Fortnite. And there was a game before PUBG
Yeah, there
that
was.
Hal and a bunch of other guys. That's how
Exactly.
they got
Day
started on it.
Zero.
Oh, DayZ.
AZ. Yeah, correct. Yeah. When the Battle Royale came out, and this like that changed the game, that turned, that was the NFL of gaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Battle Royales came out, because the stakes are now high. Like a team deathmatch, there's no like before you had to play like search and destroy to get like
Yeah.
some sort of like feel for like this, like, oh, the stakes are high, I have one life. Search and destroy on Call of Duty was like one of the only things from my personal experience. I never played like Overwatch or any of those other games, so like
Mm-hmm.
my personal mainstream experience of gaming, search and destroy is the closest thing that you could get to like a battle royale. But like now it's like if you really care about mastery and the nuances and all that kind of good stuff, like for example, I was watching your stream, full discretion. I think last night I was watching your stream, and me and my girlfriend were drinking. She's getting more drunk, and she was just like, I want to watch something else because it's, more like I like when they're fighting and whatnot and that. When they're running around and looting, it just gets boring to me. And I 100% understand that from the mainstream perspective. But from
Mm-hmm.
my perspective, somebody who is in love with this game, I love the downtime and the looting because it's like, okay, I get to see like what do you need? What's in your inventory? Like what are you looking for? What are you low on? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses right now in this game? And all that kind of good stuff. Like all that downtime stuff is part of that gigantic learning curve for Apex Legends, right? Time management, resource management, all of that kind of good stuff. Like you're
But a
back.
match is typically how long? Just so other people who've never seen it, like watching it. Like a max, a game will last in a ranked game is I think like what in this season, which is a little bit shorter. I think it's like
5 minutes
20.
tops, maybe.
Yeah, 20 to 25 minutes tops. So like compared to other big games that are really popular, those matches can last a really long time. Others they're not even matches. Let's say it's open world. It's like 90% looting. And people are thousands of people are watching that. Like your girlfriend, as an example, is right in the sense that when the game is at its passive points at ranked or whatever, they need to do other stuff to spice it up. But that's what the high risk challenges that they've added this season are enabling, that you're going to go to the ultimate low ground in the open to go take this risk. And then you're probably going to get shot at. You can't hear them, or you don't even know they're there.
Yeah, I mean, like even the decision, like, am I gonna go for this Evo harvester to level up my shield because I can't
Mm.
find shields, or am I like, or am I going to just try and do damage, to level up my shield?
Yeah.
It's there's so many micro decisions within Apex Legends that make it such a nuanced game that like from ALGS to like IL to IGL'ing, like in-game leadering, like there's so many nuances to this game that even 5 years later, man, we're still playing it. We're still talking about it. We're still strategizing. Like it hasn't gotten old. It hasn't gotten old. And that's incredible to me. Like
No, but I've
5 year old.
definitely before this season though, if I will say this, Mike, if it was like if they didn't make a big change in the game, when you said this kind of stuff to me before it came out, like days before it came out, and I was like, I don't know about this. But you made a good point. If they don't change the game, I would give it another couple of seasons before it would drop, and it would just be kind of like blah. Like it's not that I
Totally.
wouldn't stop playing the game, but I would definitely be very open if another big game came out.
Absolutely. I mean, I still am. It's not that I'm
Yeah.
not. I absolutely am open if another big game were to come out. Like I mean, I was in love with PUBG, right? PUBG was my
Oh,
fucking
dude,
game.
talk about
And
talk about talk about sitting and watching and doing nothing. People would
yeah,
just go camp.
but it was so intense, dude. Sitting and doing nothing. Like when you were doing nothing towards the end there, it was so fucking intense when you got to those end games. Like
Yeah,
stakes were high. And because it was like a military simulator, it was like real. It's like, I mean,
yeah.
maybe
It's
some
like this
people
whole
don't have the
island is
imagination to put
evacuated.
themselves in that situation where it's like, okay, it's all or nothing. And like maybe some people's imagination are just like, oh, I could just restart, whatever. They're not able to like put themselves really in this scenario. I'm a creative type. I'm able I live these when I feel it. Like, dude, when I was playing PUBG and you're in the
Uh,
top four, whoa, my heart's beating, dude. Someone could be prone in the,
well, there's the term,
like,
right? Being sweaty and like your hands are all sweaty and stuff. That was the game that probably had my hands were physically like very sweaty playing that game at the end games, because it was like because your commitment to that game, those games would go right like 35,
yeah,
40 minutes, 45 minutes. Wouldn't some of them go an hour?
I don't remember, to be
I
honest.
don't remember, it was so long ago, but like Apex Legends, some of the like a pub game, not a ranked game, a pub game is like 15 minutes. You know what I mean? And then you just like keep going, keep going, keep going. This one, like, you may not see people for 15 minutes at a time,
Hmm.
longer. And then you have to like really do it. So anyway, I I think it's like this season's got a lot going on for it. I think being like when we squad up with a lot of our crew or with other random people, it's got good energy right now and it's fun to watch. So if anyone's down to watch, like I said earlier, watch this and give it a try or do it. This is the season to do it and just give it. If you tried it before, you haven't done it in a while, or you're looking for a new kind of game to do, because I feel like this hobby that we have, like this kind of hobby, is also great because it's a free game.
Hmm.
It's free to watch on Twitch or YouTube or whatever.
Free to play, free to download.
Yep, you could get in and figure out the basics enough to do it in a couple of hours. In like 2 to 4 hours, you can kind of figure it out. And to be great at it, like we are. I mean, to be like the top, 3% like we are in the whole game, which we are. That's different. That's why we've been playing it for 5 years, but it's really really enjoyable. What else is on our list, dude?
Man, I think we really just have the random question of the week.
Nice. Oh, I look forward to this shit. I fucking love this segment. Heavy closer, baby.
So now that we're both fucking, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely feeling my drinks.
Yeah,
uh,
so this whole thing, by the way, I know your thing was doubles or whatever. So I
this is
have
my third, halfway through my
but
third.
this thing though, this I'm not a big drinker, so when I do it hits really hard compared to like before when I was drinking more for funds. And this mezcal is amazing, dude. I'm ready for whatever this end question is here. I'm
All right.
fucking ready.
Random question of the week this week is zombie apocalypse. What's your strategy?
Okay. So, real quick context for this for me. I live in New York City. New York City is a perfect start of a storyline environment for the movies that have come out. It's
Absolutely. We got to
terrifying.
talk about
It's
what
terrifying
happened
to think.
today, right? What happened today?
So for for those that may have been affected or not, and just went about your day like a normal person, unlike me. So I have AT&T mobile carrier, AT&T, and I got up at 4 in the morning, not to go to work, not to do anything. I had to go pee. I went to go pee. Did the thing where you take your phone out and be like, what the fuck is up on my phone? And then it said SOS. I thought it was me, freaked out. I thought then I got hacked, like someone did something weird to my phone and shut it down. Like then I figured out totally wasn't nationwide or international outage affects some Verizon, all these other people until like whatever this afternoon. Can't get in touch with anybody, freaking out. So I kind of go into this mindset of what the fuck is happening? The world's in a weird place right now in general. It's never not a weird place, but it's a little extra weird right now. And it's New York City, and what could go, a bunch of stuff could go sideways. Also, some of their Wi Fi stuff was out. So I got a little survivalist for a moment, and I'm not a prepper person. So if something shit hit the fan right now, I could assemble enough stuff to be on the first episode of The Walking Dead, but I'm not making it out of season one alive. You know what I mean? But in the scenario that you're talking about, a zombie apocalypse thing, so there's like, for me, this is a really important thing because you need to, the question presumes that you have some stuff to get by. So I'm going to assume that I have some stuff to get by
And I'm gonna go
or
ahead and
not.
I'm gonna throw this out there too. We're talking 28 days later zombies. We're not talking those Walking Dead zombies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking fast running zombies.
Okay, that changes the equation a bit because New York City is terrible. So luckily for, I don't know if you know this, but like I grew up doing like on a lake, doing the families that involved with boats for the family business. So I know how to sail a little bit, and I know how to operate a boat. I can do baseline mechanical stuff on boats. I could do a lot of fiberglassy fixing stuff. So if there's a hole in the boat, like I could probably figure out how to like stop it. Not in a bad hurricane situation, but like, so the first thing that I would actually do is everyone would try to be getting in a car or a bicycle or whatever. I would get what I would need in my survival kit. So for Christmas this year, my friend gave me two survival books as a joke because we joke about this stuff when you're buzzing. Never serious, like I don't have, but I would go get it. I would get my go bag. I would go get enough supplies that I have on me to be able to make it out, and I would go find a boat. I would steal somebody's boat. I would meet up with my homies on the way to said boat, and I would sail temporarily to outside of Long Island because Long Island has a lot of resources, a lot of wealthy people. So if they don't make it or whatever, there's still like a lot of houses to raid or whatever, and then you can kind of go up to where you live and go up north, or you go down south to the Bahamas because the Bahamas may not be affected, like secluded islands may not be affected as much. So there's a lot of that around the East Coast, but it would be a boat strategy. Option number two is my family. going to my family's place, which is in a kind of a uh, rural area, and figure that out. But if I were just being very not family oriented for this scenario and just like immediately get out or you die, you've got like 1 hour to figure this out, and you will not make it to Pennsylvania where my parents are, get in a boat. 100% get in a boat because I'm a mile away from the river and the ocean from where I live.
That's a great short-term strategy. What about
Okay.
long-term?
So long-term strategy, that's to say it's island. One scenario is island. Something never happened to the island. So that happened in a thing. So
Island's
that's
a
one
great
strategy.
strategy. Island
Yeah.
is fucking great strategy, but what
If
island?
you know how to sail, if you know how to sail, because then you need to sail for resources and take risks. But in terms of day-to-day protection, you're pretty good, assuming zombies can't swim, assuming a bunch of other stuff. Second
Imagine if
thing,
they swam amazingly. It'd
they're just Michael Phelpsing it at you.
be terrible, dude. You'd be fucked eventually.
Yeah, what's that movie on Amazon Prime? Came out with that movie with Chris Pratt where all the aliens could swim and stuff.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
yeah, it was a terrible movie. I give it like a 4 out of 10. Um, the other strategy then is you need to go rural in the mountains, and you need to be able to see them coming and have the high ground, and you need to have obstacles in the way. Hence, why you would do like the house I grew up in was on like a huge mountain. Like you have to really kind of go up these roads to kind of get up there, and it would you like the mountain strategy does work because then you have airplanes. So the goal is to get away from the mainland either by sky or by sea as much as possible. Um, yeah, that's what I would probably do.
All right, so you get to pick two weapons. You get two weapons that you can carry with you through the zombie apocalypse. What are those?
One silent, one deadly kind of a thing. So the silent one is you'd probably want one of those big like oh hold on. I would get it because Disney just came out with it. I would get a fucking lightsaber. They made like a lo-fi lightsaber.
That's a
They
great.
make a real
That's a
I,
great answer. That's a great answer.
I would go get a lightsaber. I would probably get one of those big. I would get something that you could push them back with that also has blades on either side that have caps. I would do something like that, or that come apart like swords or some shit. And then you would need to definitely have like I don't know anything about guns. You would need like some heavy duty gun. The people with bow and arrow though are really smart because silent things. But I suck at that. I know I would never be great at that. So
There's pros and cons to a bow and arrow, right?
yeah,
Cons are
load time.
range, load time. Uh, I mean, a con and a pro simultaneously could be ammunition, right?
I never
Depending on
understood that with The Walking Dead. Did you watch The Walking Dead?
I've never watched it, but I knew a lot of people who watched it. She didn't talk to me about
Uh,
it.
no, but there's like one of the main characters, Daryl, is like a big, like his big thing throughout the whole thing is like, I'm a bow guy, and it's silent and deadly kind of stuff. And he somehow never runs out of arrows.
Well, you can. That's the thing about a bow is you can like literally pull it out of your target and reuse your ammunition, which you cannot do with a.
And that's true, but I guess you could also figure out a way to make them work enough, probably.
Yeah, that too.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
a
cool.
bow and arrow makes sense in the apocalypse because you're gonna run out of bullets or you're gonna run out of gunpowder potentially, right? But you can always get more arrows, or you can make more arrows. I don't know if you can make more bullets.
Oh, ooh, underrated, by the way. Underrated. Obviously, lightsaber, but flamethrower, underrated.
Oh yeah, dude,
Because no
Elon
one's going to
Musk,
be shooting unless you're up against marauders or a gang. No one's going to be shooting your tank with all the fuel goo in it. And
fuel.
if you explode,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's not good. Bad way
Yeah,
to go.
I don't know. I think getting nommed on by a bunch of by a bunch of zombies is probably the worst. That's
Yeah,
the
it would be a bad
worst.
way to go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather be just be like blown up.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you saw Daniel Snyder's movie with the Las Vegas zombie movie. Incredible. It's great.
Yeah,
It's got that
what is
ex
it?
wrestler in it who's really good. He's a great actor. By the way, I think that guy's the best wrestling actor there is. He's better than The Rock.
Are you talking about the guy from the Marvel movies?
Yep. Don, he's from the Las Vegas Dan Snyder zombie movie.
I don't know what Las Vegas zombie movie is. I've seen a lot of zombie movies though.
Name wrestling actors.
I don't know. I know he's
I'm fucked up. I can't.
um
But he's great. The guy from the Las Vegas
Dave
Dan
Batista. Dave Batista.
Danny Bautista. That guy's phenomenal. He's the best
Army of
wrestling
the
actor.
Dead.
The best Army of the Dead.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this movie. I saw when it came out
Amazing. It's awesome, dude.
2021.
It's awesome,
Yeah.
dude. For a zombie movie, so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Dude.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
All right,
God.
so we're gonna wrap up this podcast. I'm a little fucked up. Man, if you don't play Apex Legends, consider playing it. It's free to download. Apex Legends. It's an amazing game. Gigantic skill gap though. You're gonna have to play it for a while. It's not a casual game that you just pick up. NFL, Eagles fan right here. We got Drew Tranquil. He's my sleeper free agency pick of the year. I think he's gonna be an Eagle. I think he's gonna actually be a huge impact player. We got Wep Sword over here. He's Jared over here. We got Wep Sword on Twitch. Make sure you follow him on Twitch. Bears Den Media is myself. Follow me on Twitch. We're gonna be talking maybe potentially about a clan next time we come on. I want to form a clan. I want to start competing. I want to start professionally playing in Apex. We're gonna talk about that potentially next time we get Jared on. Make sure that you guys follow, subscribe, comment down below. What are you guys' free agent sleepers? What are you guys' favorite video games? We're talking Apex Legends. What do you think about it? Comment down below, like, subscribe. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys and tune in next week.